That is indeed true, and it's not only Joho who's sent a message over such kind of concerns, but it's also something that every leader in this particular region is concerned with. Remember, this is not the first time that this incident is happening here at the Likoni channel, but again, it is another time that one person again has died at the channel, but this time it is, according to the authorities, they claim it could either be a suicide mission, but of course we cannot verify that information, but we are told that the deceased drove into the ocean, even passing the toll station, and at that time, it was at around 4 a.m. this morning. At that time, there was no ferry operating at the channel. That is according to the information given by the Kenya Ferry Services Management. And as you can see currently right now, the Kenya Navy divers are on standby to start the retrieval process of the vehicle. Already the body they managed to retrieve the body like an hour ago, and they took it to Jocham Hospital. But right now what you can see is that the ferry MV Kilindini, it has on board a crane, and that crane will be used to lift or to pull out the vehicle out of the ocean. We're informed that it is lying between roughly 6 and 8 meters deep into the ocean, and that is what actually made it easy for the divers to quickly spot the vehicle. And I'm told that they swung into action like an hour after the incident occurred and started the recovery process, and they managed to spot the vehicle and retrieved the body. Let me just quickly read the statement released by the Kenya Ferry Services this morning, and it reads, "It is with sadness that we would like to confirm that around 4:20 a.m. on the mainland side of the channel, a motorist by the name John Mutinda, 46 years old, driving a saloon car registration number KBX 475B, that is a Toyota Allion, maroon in color, drove to the mainland ramp past the police check and failed to pay the ferry toll services. The ferry staff approached the vehicle, but the driver chose to drive past the pavement on the opposite side of the road, overlapping other vehicles which were parked on the waiting bay. And as the ramp controller stopped the vehicle, the motorist defied the orders, sped off and plunged into the Indian Ocean." The statement further reads, the ramp controller alerted the coxswain who was at the island side. The coxswain immediately alerted the ferry rescue boat, which responded immediately. He also alerted the port control tower, the Kenya Police, Marine, the Kenya Navy and other agencies. The occupants in the car have not yet been established, but no, that statement was released earlier before the retrieval of the body, and that is from the Kenya Ferry Services. Right now you can see MV Kilindini is taking position. The crane is also trying to get a strategic position, and as you can see, the divers are also ready to dive into the water. What I can see right now is this could be the team that conducted the previous retrieval exercise. Remember, Amanda and her mother Mariam also plunged into the sea. That is not far, long ago, and I can see Colonel Lawrence Gituma is here and in charge of the operation. The Kenyan Navy divers also taking the position there, and there's a white buoy suspended into the water, and that is the exact spot where the vehicle is lying. And currently at the channel there are two ferries operating, and of course that is because they would want to reduce the traffic at the channel to give room for this exercise that is yet to begin. Remember, the body of John Mutinda was already retrieved and has been retrieved, and it has been taken to Jocham Hospital, where I'm informed that friends, family members have gathered to comfort and console each other. And the information that we also managed to get from some of the family members, we informed that Mutinda only told his wife that he had an appointment, and an urgent appointment. That, remember, it was at around 4 a.m. but the wife tried to get more information concerning his appointment, but of course tried again to stop him from leaving the house, and she actually even tried to hide the car keys, but she did not manage, and that's how Mutinda left the house. And we are informed that he had his shorts, his pajamas on, and he just left like that, and we saw his body actually retrieved. That is the same exact way we informed that he left the house. But of course, remember, this is something that investigations are currently being conducted. It's being carried out by a multi-agency team, the police officers here, the intelligence officers, the officials from the Kenya Ports Authority, from the Kenya Ferry Services, the Navy themselves. So there's a lot being said about this, but of course we cannot independently verify all that information. But what have also gathered is that the Kenya Ferry Services is willing to give us the CCTV footage of this place. Remember, both sides of the channels are installed with CCTV cameras, and once we get hold of the footage, then we can also try and verify the contents of the clip, and of course we will examine it and try to see ourselves what exactly occurred, because we are told that Mutinda just sped off from even the toll station. He defied orders to stop, and that is when he drove directly and plunged into the ocean. He was alone in the car at that time, and of course also we are receiving other reports that he could have been drunk, but of course again we cannot verify that information. But of course also it's something that is becoming of great concern right now, because a few weeks ago there was also another man who jumped off the ferry at around midnight here at the channel and died. So some people that we were speaking to here, they're telling us that that particular incident, the guy of that previous incident was just depressed, and he took his own life. So it is something that we are currently seeing, like somehow it's a trend, how these people are taking their lives. But of course again, remember, this is a matter under active investigations. We cannot like really possibly verify all this information that we're getting, but what we know and what we can report is that Mutinda's body has been retrieved and taken to Jocham Hospital, and right now currently the Navy divers, as you can see, they're taking position. And again, the crane, I'm told it's from Seco, that is a company, remember, also got involved in the previous retrieval exercise of the vehicle that had baby Amanda and her mother, where when they plunged, after they plunged into the ocean a couple of months ago. For them, it took the multi-agency team 14 days to successfully spot and retrieve the vehicle and the bodies of the two victims. But this one, it was so quickly because, as I said earlier, the vehicle is just lying close to the shore. It's at least approximately 8 meters deep, and it took less time for the divers to spot the vehicle. It's towards the shallow end, it's not that deep. And you can see the recovery operation, the boats from the Kenya police, the marine police for that matter. You can see some even private divers also there. The Kenya Ferry Services also have provided the divers who are also joining this operation, and we're expecting this, according to the Kenya Ferry Services, it's the process that will take a maximum of 3 hours for the vehicle to be successfully retrieved from the ocean. And we will be here, we are on standby. Of course, again, as I said, we'll be examining the CCTV footage that the Kenya Ferry Services will be providing for us to see exactly what happens, because it's a matter of great concern, and Kenyans are following this incident. Remember, it happened at 4:20 a.m. and at that time, remember, always from midnight, the traffic at the ferry is not that heavy, and at the time the ferries normally operate at intervals of an hour or two, and that according to the ferry at that time when the tragedy occurred, the other people who were waiting for the ferry to come in from the island to the mainland, and they had waited there for quite some time, and that is when, according to the Kenya Ferry, we informed that Mutinda just sped off and even overlapped and drove off immediately and plunged into the ocean. But of course, according to the Kenya Ferry, there were people here at that time, and of course remember that police and the authorities, investigative agencies, are also gathering information from witness accounts to get to establish what really happened, and I believe they will be able to give out a final statement on the issue as soon as the operation is complete.